Hello from wherever you are, and welcome to Let's Play Games. My name is John McFarland, Adult Services Librarian for National Public Libraries, and I hope you'll join me in learning or rediscovering some of the more common and uncommon games out there. This time, we're going to go with a game that you probably immediately think looks very much like a sorry board. Well, it's not. It's a game called Ludo that has its origins all the way back in ancient India. You may know it as Parcheesi. Well, there's a fascinating story and a fascinating playstyle into it. So let's get stuck in. So, Ludo. I'm going to refer to it as Ludo from this point forward, but if I mess up and say sorry over the course of this game, or trouble over the course of this game, I apologize in advance. Very similar format, very similar looking board. So you do have 4 pieces of a particular color, and you get to pick your own. And I have 2 dice here, but you're only gonna need 1 this time. So what you have are these 4 pieces into your home base. So this will be your starting point. Let me get all of these on here. And your goal is to get all of your pieces subsequently out of your home base and onto your home. So a couple things I want to point out at the beginning of this process. So you've got a section here that does not have any coloring on it. A section here that does. So part of the way this game works is that your pieces are progressively going to leave their home base. They'll always start here, this little colored dot, and they will, through subsequent die rolls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, move around the board in a clockwise fashion. So initially, you have to roll a 6 just to get out. So sometimes this game can start a little on the slower side. You could agree as a table to have 1 piece out at the beginning. I like doing that just because I don't want to play all day waiting for a single piece. But you get to make the rules at your own table, agree on as a group. Rolling a 6 is your first big choice of the game. I got lucky in rolling it on the second try. You have the option to do one of the following. You can bring another piece out, which you can only do on a 6, or you can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as I did from my starting point, and then you get to roll again. As long as you roll a 6, you can keep going, barring at the end of the game. But I'll get onto that in a moment. Your goal is to subsequently roll as many times as possible and getting all the way around the board to the end. So let's say you have a piece that's here. 1, 2, away from this dot here. And I rolled a 5. 1, 2. And instead of taking a whole other lap around, you get to move into this colored space. So 1, 2, 3. Your object is to get all of your pieces into this home area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's say it's my turn again. I roll a 1. And then subsequently, it's my turn again. And I rolled a 4. But let's change this to a 5 for the sake of conversation. I can't move this piece. I cannot go over and into the home base. I have to roll exactly. So by convenience, I rolled a 4 and I would be able to move my piece into the home area. I now can't do anything with it. So the catch. Other players are going to be doing the exact same thing. You're sometimes going to be covering the exact same real estate. So, much like in the game Sorry, if you're familiar with that game, let's say you have pieces here. Let's see if I can roll it first try. I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can jump over the piece. But if it's subsequently green's turn, almost did it. Let's change it to a 2. 1, 2. You can't occupy the same space together, which means that blue gets knocked back home. Sorry. Now, play subsequently continues on. And if you, as blue, don't have any available moves, you can, again, agree to let somebody have one piece back out, and they begin rolling all the way from the start. 1, 2, 3, 4. So usually games like this take about somewhere between 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how frustrating your rolls are. Not that I would have experience with 40-minute or longer games. Spoiler alert, yes, I do. But you, as a group, are subsequently trying to get all of your pieces out all the way across the board and into the center. I'm going to stop for a moment. I'll reset this, and we'll show you a full game. And I want to tell you a little bit of history about this game. So a little bit about this game. It has a long and storied history. And by storied, I mean literally in ancient Indian epics. So we have an example of the first Ludo, as it was called Parcheesi, P-A-C-H-I-S-I, Parcheesi, in the 6th century in the caves of Ellora, some of which were carved out of a single rock, by the way. And we saw in the ancient epic of Mahabharata, in which Shakuni, which is one of the storied characters, used cursed dice to beat Pandavas, which were the rulers of the area, and at last, after the Pandavas lost everything, required divine intervention just to remove the losses. And it was also known as Chaupar in ancient times, and was a personal favorite game of Mughal emperors, which ruled over parts of India before the British. More on that later. Welcome back. So I'm going to start this game from scratch, and I'm going to agree on a couple of things to begin with. First off, we're going to have one piece out for all players at the start. And I'm going to use one of a couple rules that are borrowed from Parcheesi. First off, there's this piece spot right here that you can see. It is an optional rule if you're playing Ludo. It is a main rule if you're playing Parcheesi, where these are also safe spots. You can't be captured at those spots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have green go first. Sorry, forgive the indulgence. Green's my favorite color. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yellow. 3. 3. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. And 6 I referred to as the extra turn. So blue can't have another piece come out, as blue already has a piece occupying. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But blue will get to roll again. 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's on the safe home space. So let's assume, for the sake of conversation, that blue decided to roll a 6 again. They could keep that spot indefinitely there, and red, when it turns the corner and comes around, can't capture that piece. It just becomes an invalid move. So we are going to keep going. We'll fast forward a little bit, and then as interesting things start to happen, I'll show you. 6. 5, 6. Green gets to go again. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yellow here would love to roll a 6 right now. Why? because it would move this piece. So let's see if yellow gets lucky. They do not. We'll keep going. Red. Oh. 1, 2. Green. 4. 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect. So green has gotten lucky. Instead of yellow being unfortunate enough to roll a 6, they're going to be pushed back home as they rolled a 4. Now, as this is early game, this isn't too dastardly for yellow, but it does mean they're going to have to start back 4 moves. So we'll move them out 1. And they roll a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be a nice little game between yellow and green. Other times you can have them lose their turn just by moving a piece out, but I went ahead for pacing just to move this up briefly. So a little more pace. Just 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. Green is getting all the luck in these rolls. So yellow, 4, red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, green 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, 3, 4, 5. So for 6, I'm going to decide instead of moving forward, you saw I moved, as long as you don't take your finger off the piece, you can change your mind. You get to move 1 out. So what happens here is that it is usually better to have more than 1 piece out at a time. It gives you options. It gives you the ability to play a bit more aggressively. And if you have all 4 of your pieces out on the board, it's a whole lot more likely you're going to get all the way around, or at least get some of them around. So we'll have those out. They'll get to roll again. And as a 1, they can either move this piece 1 or this piece 1. It is entirely up to you. You cannot split your die roll in case you have anything higher than 1. You got to make your choice. So we'll do here, and we'll keep going. Back. So as blue, I just got a little lucky. I rolled a 6 and I rolled a 4, which means that I not only got one of my pieces out as blue and knocked red back to the front, but I rolled a 4 subsequently and was able to knock green's piece that just got broken out of base. So now we're going to continue on with blue with a little bit more of an advantage, but green to roll. So with that last roll of 4 for green, they are in their home unit. So I'm going to roll a little bit here just to get a bit ahead. 6. 6 for reds has worked out fairly well so far. So now for blue here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. Even if I rolled an exact 5, because green just moved into their color area, they are completely immune from, instead of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have to continue on their own pathway, which means they end up here. Green's now safe. So green, let me re-roll that here, can move 2 into their space, or they can move here. So as I mentioned before, now that green's in their home space, it's entirely up to you what you want to roll. But I will typically move them forward, because now I can move that piece inside whenever I want. So let me take a step back. There's a little bit more history to this game I want to tell you about, including a more decidedly British link. So, in the last segment, I referred to the British. I'm afraid I have to go back to them now. The British took a liking to the game and made it the official game of the Royal Navy and subsequently Royal Army and Royal Air Force, and called it Uckers. So instead of these little pieces as we know them now, they became little small circles cut out of a broom handle. And they became quite known for having some, shall we say, added rules. They actually would refer to, in the end game, if a player had all 4 of their pieces still on base, which was at the very beginning, they would be referred to as the 8 ships in harbor. And if you were unfortunate enough to have this experience, you would have your name written in shame on the back of the board for it to remain. So, of course, the British had to have more of a commercial value. We'll see more on that in a minute. Welcome back. So, as we have it right now, red has 3 pieces out at the moment and just 1 in their base. Blue is decidedly behind. Green is technically in the lead with having 1 in their home space. And yellow is kind of in the middle of the pack. So I'm going to keep rolling now, and I will have us be fast forwarding, and I will stop us at interesting or what may end up being pivotal moments throughout the course of this game, because everything is being done through chance. Let's keep going. Red, I'm going to move here just in case a 6 is rolled. We're going to go and move this out. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Green with a whopping 1. Yellow with a 2. Red, 1, 2. Damned and determined to knock over. So one of the things here that I decided to do is moving yellow a little bit further rather than getting this piece a little further out, which is technically the riskier play. Why? Well, there's 2 pieces here where I'm now kind of fighting red and blue for the same real estate. So the smarter play is to, instead of doing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because notice there's at least a 6 roll in between everything else, and it puts it at a pit stop. So instead, I'm going to do this, and we'll see how it changes the outcome. home. Blue with their 1. Let's see. Out. Therefore, is back in. Their 1 is just going to advance here. Green with their 2 is going to just keep on losing. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So red is now going to have all 4 of theirs out, which means it's crowded, but it means there's at least a chance now that red could win the game as long as no pieces are bumped back home. This is kind of the optimal play, but it is entirely your choice to make. We'll keep on going. So one important thing here is technically green here can't remove a piece. Why? Because they do have a viable move. So that's one of the frustrating things if you have something in your home space that you may not be able to actually move like you want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because you are stuck in the situation of your pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get to that pit stop there. 1, 2, 3, 5. Where now green is stuck in the situation that until now they have to roll a 4 in order to get their piece all the way home and have it move. So from here, I'm going to speed up a little bit and we'll get to a little bit more of the end game. So that way you can see just how a game can finish. So as we get into the end game here, I went ahead and kept on rolling, and we see ourselves in the position that yellow has 2 pieces in, red has 2, blue has 3, green has 3. Red has 2 pieces right here that are in a little bit of danger only if they mess up rolling, which is going to be pretty hard to do because there are no pieces behind them. Green's in a bit of danger because of yellow here, and blue is a little bit further behind, and it's green's roll. Just rolling a 2. Yellow's roll is a 6. So they can't use this piece right here, but they can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 get themselves out of harm's way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was a lucky roll on their part. Red 1, 2, 3. So now blue is finally going to escape once again and get 1, 2, 3. But they are going to be in the most danger here as we get to the end of things. Whoop. Make sure we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now red's in their home area as well. Blue is going to be definitely playing from behind. 3. Yellow will get that last 1 in. So now it becomes very much a race. And the reason why this is important is blue still has an opportunity to win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was very close to the end. Now green just needs 1. So they are only going to be rolling. That's 2. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Since you need that exact amount, 1, 2, 3. If green can roll a 1 here, it's all over. Well, so they didn't roll a 1, but they did roll a 6, which means they get to roll again. They rolled a 3, which is nothing. 1, 2, 3. So as we get towards the end game here, that's 2. So now red needs a 1 or a 5. Blue is rolling terribly here. 2, no help to the green. 3. Whoop. Let that 6 stay, even though it doesn't help. Look at that last 1. So now red only needs a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's kind of what blue needed. Blue needs a whole lot of big numbers and quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. And yellow's, technically speaking, in a bit of danger here. They need to 1, 2, 3, 4. If blue rolls a 4 next, there's some trouble going on. Now red only needs a 1. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yellow's taking a breath of relief, but it only does so much because now red rolls that 1 that was desperately needed. So here's how you can get at the very end. Everyone has an equal opportunity. Everyone has a chance to win this game. So just a little bit more about the British, and then I have some American backstory for you. William Henry Story from Southend-on-Sea filed for a patent for the game of Ludo in 1929. And after the patent came from England, it was registered as a trademark and then sold in 1934 into the United States to a small British games manufacturer called Waddington's. Waddington's decided to sell it to a company that we are all familiar with now, Hasbro. Hasbro, as they changed the game around, made this an entire format of games. So we did see Parcheesi in one form, preserving the Indian context of the game, They also added Sorry, which was instead of a dice roll through drawing of cards, and Trouble with its trademarked Pop-O-Matic in the center that still kept the 1-die heritage, 4 pegs, and things being pushed back. So the development of the game continues even into today. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you'll join me next time where we touch into yet another game. Be sure to check out some of the previous episodes on our YouTube playlist, and also check out our YouTube channel for more great NPL Universe content. I'll see you next time.